Hey guys, Kev here, and I wanted to talk about this knife right here. This is the Kansept Orlock, and it is a design from Tactical Terry. Check it out. He is a dude on YouTube and Instagram, a knife EDC dude. He follows the channel, but he's got his own stuff going on. I'll link it down below. I love this logo. It's like a little Frankenstein. Absolutely dope logo right there. And this is his design that Kansept picked up. And let me just tighten the pivot. It's been loosening a little bit. I don't want to Loctite it because it's obviously a prototype. But this is really good. The longer I've had it, the more I've actually fallen in love with it. It is a liner lock. It's got a hole for deployment. It also has a really good front flipper, and Kansept did a great job on this prototype with the detent, which is nice. It's got good lock bar access right there. You could probably cut back a little bit more of that, but it works just fine. Haven't had an issue. Look at that. It's a little bit on the chunky side, being a liner lock and contoured and everything, but it feels good in hand and in the pocket. Hasn't been an issue. Now, the clip does tap. We could probably fix that for him real quick. I was thinking about that. Should be a pretty simple, just take this apart. Remove the T6s on the clip. That's one thing I would tell him. Terry asked Kansept if they'll do T8s all around. I know they don't like to, but man, I'm really hoping that some people can convince them to do it. They don't really have a good reason in this case. So there, I just took the clip off. And in this case, because it's a pretty thin piece of tie, I should be able to just bend it. Should not take much. Which side? The lock side. There it is. I do love that this has a reversible clip. That's something that Kansept seems to fight people on. And it looks like Terry won that battle. So really good to see that. You just tighten these down. See if it wants to line up a certain way. I'm not gonna guide it. There we go. A little bit of Loctite in there. I can hear it kind of crunching when I tighten that down. So now the clip does not tap. It's got good retention. No problemo there. And yeah, my favorite thing about this knife is this. That front flip, just, man, it hammers back. Absolutely fantastic. And then the blade shape is nice. You have that poon there with a nice flat in front of it, so you can kind of choke up to here, ride your thumb up like this. You can get a good grip for slicing. If you need to do some indexing cuts, you can get your finger in there, do some utility cutting. For a lefty, the lock just slides right out of the way. No problem at all. It does have, let's take a look inside here. It looks like it has full liners on both sides. Now, where do I have a flashlight here? My flashlight is elsewhere at the current moment. Let's see if I can just grab this here. Headlamp that I'm charging. So, if we look in here, you have a liner on the show side, and then you have a liner on the lock side. Now, from looking at this, I believe this knife only needs a lock bar liner. So all it needs is a little bit of a liner for the lock bar that can mount down here by the clip, and you could keep half of the lock side linerless, and the whole show side could be linerless. I'm guessing they chose to put the liner in there so they don't have to worry about putting a washer in. And if you want the reversible clip, I guess, right? But you can, you could thread your clip right into the titanium. So there's really, you don't have to do that. So, and I would even personally, I would give up the Lefty reversible clip if it meant the knife was, you know, just had that one little liner and it took some weight off. It's not like heavy, but it just seems unnecessary. There's no reason not to cut those liners. That's my thinking. But it feels really good. It really fires with that front flipper. Really fallen in love with that. I have barely reverse flicked it. Part of that is because I personally had a little bit of my nail was hurting or whatever, so I couldn't really reverse flick left-handed. Maybe I will Loctite that because it's coming loose pretty quick. But you can see all the moves are possible. I don't know if I can reach around it. Let's see. Yeah, I can reach around it too. So it's got all the things that that we're looking for in a knife, I think. So really well done. And again, this is a collaboration with Kansept. It's called the Orlock. Now, as I understand it, I did Google this. Orlock is the name of, I think it's Count Orlock. And it's somehow a reference to Dracula. So the book by Bram Stoker, I think, has somebody named Count Orlock. That might actually be Dracula's like faux name or something. I don't know, but he obviously likes Dracula because he's got Frankenstein on here, and I think Frankenstein is tied to Dracula somehow, and there's all that stuff. So I think that's how the name came to be. But yeah, really cool. Flat grind, but it's a tall blade, so it's going to come down to a nice slicey edge. He said it's supposed to release in the second half of 2025. So there's a little bit of time. These OEMs must have so many designs lined up. If you think about it, how many people in the community these days are sending in designs to get made and collaborate with the OEMs, which I think is awesome because we get certain things that you wouldn't see from these OEMs by themselves. They wouldn't be improving as much as they are and as fast as they are without our community pushing them, right? We have guys on both sides of it. You have guys like me and Colin who are, coming out with knives and having them made by the OEMs. And we're pushing to get certain things in our knives. And then you have guys like Terry here who is working with the OEM as with a licensed design. And same thing, he can push them to try to do things. You have a little less power that way, obviously. But, if they want to collaborate with people, they should listen to us, right? And then you have some people like Casey over at Knives Fast doing both things, right? Which also helps. So these OEMs are getting better and better at things because we're pushing them to do so, which I think is really cool. An example of that is DLC. As of 6 months ago, a lot of companies called this DLC. You'd order and you'd say, I want DLC, and they would make it seem like they gave you DLC, but it was really PVD. And I think a lot of that is they just didn't understand what it was exactly, or they didn't know there was an important, difference between the two. And now a lot of these companies are like, we have Kubi testing DLC. They're doing DLC. They did it on a crispy donut community night. They have some of their own stuff coming out with DLC. We have them working on belt satin DLC and polished DLC. You see Best Tech now is doing real DLC when people ask for it. It is more expensive, but at least we have the option now, right? Which I think is really cool. And you only get that with these community-driven designs. So here, let me clean this out, and then I'm going to put a little Loctite on there. We'll tune her up, and then I'll get you guys out of here. For anybody interested in the Loctiting process, I'm using Loctite because this is not my knife. This is Terry's prototype, which is, it's cool that Kansept sent him prototypes. Some of these OEMs don't even send, like Kubi, I believe, does not even send prototypes to people. You're just approving a drawing, and then you know, hoping it comes out the way you want it. And if it does well, you know, maybe you can change some things on a V2. But it's definitely cooler if you can, geez, what is going on here? There you go. Like, didn't want to lock in there. All right, let's see. We are centered. No play. And action is pretty damn good. Let me just check that one more time. No play, centered, all the good stuff. There we go, guys. Let me know if you have any questions down below. Terry, if you watch this, you can answer anybody's questions on this knife. I wish you the best of luck with this. It's a really cool design. I'm glad you put it out there. It's awesome to see everybody putting their designs out there. I'd rather see all the designs you guys have than the generic ones that these brands are going to come up with on their own, you know? So if you have a design, if there's something you would like to see made, I really urge you to draw it. You can talk to somebody like Mark over at Loot 10 Tech / New Breed EDC. You can pay him like, you know, less than $200 maybe to do the CAD file for you, and then you can send it to a bunch of OEMs and be like, hey, you guys want to pick this up? Or you could just literally draw it and then send it to them and be like, hey, you guys interested in this? There's plenty of people that don't even use CAD and they have a bunch of designs out. So don't be afraid to put your name out there. That's one thing I would really say to you guys. It took me about 30 years to not be afraid of failure when it comes to stuff like that. And it's really eye-opening. It's just a great feeling for yourself if you put those fears aside of failure, fears of, you know, people making fun of your design or whatever, and just do it. I think you'll feel better. And even if they all say no, at least you tried and you can check it off, you know? So anyway, shout out to Terry. I'm sure he's got more awesome stuff coming, and he's already done really cool stuff. Check out his Instagram. I will link it down below. But that is the Kansept Orlock prototype. Shout out to you guys. Love you. Hope you have a great day. And I will catch you later.